promised, I'm going to run through the process that I'm using to select a winner for this Autel AL539 code scanner. And incidentally, if you've not signed up for the giveaway yet, you still have through the end of December 2019, so you can do that right here, okay? So because this is a DIY channel and I haven't done a tech DIY in a while, I'm actually going to run through the whole process from start to finish, which I know will probably bore some of you, but some creators or other people who are running contests or giveaways may find the whole process useful. Okay, so I'm going to run through the process of creating a Google form, dumping it to a spreadsheet, and then I'm going to provide two different methods of selecting a winner. One is a little bit more basic, and the other gives you a little more flexibility in terms of which information you want to show. And then lastly, what I'll do is I'll provide a link down in the description section to a page where you can actually copy and paste the formula and the script and make a duplicate of the form and the spreadsheet if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to spin around here, hop on the old HAL 9000 and show you how it's done.
Alright, you can see I'm on my Google Drive here, and obviously you will need a Google account to use Google Form to collect your contest entries, and I always suggest creating a new folder when you start a project like this. Okay, so we're going to start right in our new folder here, and I'm going to do New, More, Google Form. Okay, at this point you can name your form, and I would suggest naming it something that's related to your giveaway. You can also add, a description of your giveaway here in the form description field. When you create a new form, it adds your first question, if you will. What we'll do is we'll do a short answer. We'll ask for first and last name in separate fields, and there's a reason for that. I'll show that toward the end when we go through the selection process. We can also make the fields required. Alright, next I'm going to add a drop-down selection here just to change it up a little bit. In my particular giveaway, I was requiring participants to reside in the United States. So here I'm going to have people enter their state. Now, here's a cool thing. If you're not familiar with Form Ranger, we can utilize an existing spreadsheet to populate our drop-down selection. And if anybody would like a tutorial on how to use Form Ranger to do this, let me know. Leave it in the comment section below. And we can search for it here. Let's see if that's it. Alright, so there's our list of states. You can see a preview there. And we'll just give it a range name. And what this is going to do is it's going to populate our drop-down list so that we don't have to type all of these state names one by one. If you have them in a spreadsheet, you can populate your drop-down list using Form Ranger. Okay, so that's just a cool little add-on there. Okay, and again, we can make that required. All right, so that should give you an idea of how to put together the form. You can add any combination of questions that you would want. You've got multiple choice, short answer, paragraph. So that gives you an idea of how to put the form together. But if anybody wants a more in-depth tutorial on Google Forms, leave it down in the question and comment section. You can even add images as well as the video. If it's a YouTube giveaway, you can actually add the video right on the form, which I think is kind of neat. AL539 giveaway. Okay, so people can actually view the video. Now here's the thing: if I wanted this video at the top, say, instead of writing a description, I can actually have it up at the top here. Let me trade places with first name. So you can drag and drop all of these fields, and again, you can make them required or not. All right, let's take a quick look at the settings here. Response receipts, you can set that to always, and that means that they'll always receive an email confirming their entry for the giveaway, which I think is a good idea. Collect email addresses. In the past, you could force people to have a Gmail address. Now I believe it really will allow them to use any email address. Limit to one response. Now this is not going to prevent people who really want to enter it multiple times using different addresses in different browsers, but you can select that, which would prevent them from entering the contest using the same address in the same browser. You can also allow them to edit after submit, and you can also allow them to see the summary of responses, which may not be a good idea because it may give away the names of other contest participants. So I would not suggest doing that. Alright, so right now we have no responses. You can see your responses. If there were any, they would be right here. Okay, and if we look at our folder, you can see that the form is now there. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to click on this little create spreadsheet icon here. And it should create it right in the same folder, and it is right there. Okay, that's important. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go and fill out the form a few times. So I would need, in order to do it a couple of times using the same address, I would need to remove that checkbox. So I'm just going to remove that for now. And I'm going to go ahead and we can say send, right? And that's going to give us, you can actually get the link right here for the form itself. Open a new tab, paste that in. And that's what it looks like. And keep in mind that you can actually go and change the colors, and there's actually different themes you can select. Really what I'm focusing on here would be the functionality of the form and how to select a winner. But again, if anybody wants a more in-depth tutorial on Google Forms, let me know. All right, so I'm gonna fill this out a couple of times, maybe with a couple of different names, and so we have some results, and then we'll move on to the next part, which would be the selection process. All right, so you can see I entered 10 responses just to give us some data to work with, and this again is probably why I wouldn't recommend making the results available to your contest participants, because they'd have first and last names along with states. Although they're not together in the same field, it's not recommended. All right, so now what we need to do is take a quick look at our spreadsheet here. Alright, so this is the spreadsheet that's generated by the form, and each time the form is submitted, a new record will be created, and you can see that a timestamp is created, and it also collects the email address. These have obviously been edited. So I'm assuming that when you select your winner, you're probably going to want to capture that or have some sort of a reveal, which is great, and I'm going to do the same thing when I select the winner of this code scanner. But I don't want people to see the names in state of all of the other contest participants. So I'm going to create a new sheet here. Okay, we can call it whatever we want. We can call it winner. Alright, so on our new sheet, I'm just going to give ourselves some space to work with here, and we can format this out, and we'll kind of go through that after the fact. But really what we're focusing on here again is what? Functionality, how it works. Alright, so I'm just going to paste a formula in here, and again, I'll go through it a little bit with you here, but really what you'll want to do to get this formula so you can copy and paste it rather than try to copy it off the screen would be to head on down to the description section after the video is over and go to the blog post that you'll be able to copy and paste this. Okay, but be aware of the fact that some things are very specific. For example, form responses 1 is the default name of the sheet that's created when we created the spreadsheet from our Google form. Therefore, this has to have form responses space 1 in same here. Okay, so that's something that's important to know. So basically what we're looking at is we're looking at B4, and is looking to see if B4 equals the winner is, and if we were to type that in there, we would hopefully receive our winner, but we're going to do it a little bit more sophisticated. So I'm going to click on B4 here. I'm going to go to data, data validation, and then I'm going to do a list of items. And I'm just going to copy and paste here because it's easier. Now, a list of items allows you to populate the cell in a drop-down format with comma delimited. So I have two items here. I have random winner selection, comma, the winner is in the hyphen. That's what we were looking for in our formula. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. And now you can see, okay, so if we had the spreadsheet sitting on this random winner selection, for example, we wanted to have a big reveal, and the winner is, and it returns the email address. Now let's go ahead and just see if it's really truly random. So you can see each time we select it, it brings in a different winner. Okay, so therefore it is selecting a random entry, basically looking at the number of entries and then randomizing the number based on how many entries, assuming that there's a header row, and there is. So it starts on the second row and then it randomly selects a winner. Now here's the problem. We might not want to give away the email address of the winner, right? So we're looking at column B. We could give away the first name. We could go to column C, and all we'd have to do is change this. Okay. So do you remember when we first started the video, I said, well, let's just do the first and last name in separate fields. If you were interested in doing it this way, you could have created enter your name first and last, and it would have been in one field and it would have pulled it in. Okay, so now we're going to move on to a more sophisticated way to do this using Vlookup, which will allow us to pull in, let's say we want to have it say Grover from New Hampshire. Okay, or in my case, I will probably pull in their YouTube channel because I asked for their YouTube channel URL. So let me set that up. It's going to be a little bit different, and we're going to have to edit this. We're going to have to edit this spreadsheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a copy of the entire setup because I want to go all the way back to where there are no entries, and I'll show you how this works. Okay, so from within the form, and this is what you'll want to do if you go to the blog post and you want to have a copy of this, just select the three dots here and then say make a copy. And here we have the opportunity to change the name. And we'll just call this one, just so it's easy to see in the folder, giveaway 2. Okay, so it basically creates a copy of the form. There are no responses, and the spreadsheet has not been created yet because remember we selected this icon to create the spreadsheet, and that's what I'm going to do right now. And again, you can select a different folder or a different name. Okay, so here's what we need to do. At this point, I actually need to insert a column here, and this is something that sometimes it can be a little flaky, but basically I'm going to call this count because I'm going to add a script that's going to count the number of entries because we're going to utilize that number. Okay. All right, so we're going to go up here to Tools, Script Editor, and I'm just going to paste the script in. And again, if you head on over to the blog post that's listed in the description, you'll be able to get these in a copy paste format. Okay, so now that we have the script there, we need to assign a trigger. All right, so we'll go to Edit, Current Projects Triggers. Then we'll add a trigger, and you can see here it says on form submit, but we also need to change this to on form submit, and we'll hit save. Let that finish. Okay. Now if we go back to our script, you can see that it says on form submit here, and we'll just hit save here as well. All right. Now we need to test it out. All right, so we'll just get the URL for our giveaway 2 form here, and we'll fill it out. And you can see here that a 2 was populated, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so essentially this script that we added along with the trigger, current projects triggers, it's every time the form is being submitted, it's going to add a number to this first column, which essentially becomes a unique identifier that we can use with a Vlookup statement. Okay, so now what I need to do is populate this some more, so we have some more data to work with, and then we'll continue on here. Okay. Let's just see it work again here. And we just saw it happen. All right, I'm going to get some data in there, and then we'll show you how to select a winner in a different way. So we might say George from Maine or something like that. All right. All right, so you can see I have 12 responses this time around, and I didn't use presidents. I just randomly entered names and states. Okay, and the spreadsheet looks like this, and you can see that the script is counting just the way we want it to. I'm going to go ahead and create a new sheet, just like we did last time. And just to keep things easy, so we don't have to change too much around, I'm just going to select D4 again, because that's where we were last time. I'm going to paste the same script in, and I'm just going to start with the same thing we had the first go round. And then I need to go to data validation, and then I'll change it so that we can pull in various pieces of information. And we're going to do a list of items. Paste that in. Let's just make sure it's working. And the winner is, oh, what's that? It's pulling in the timestamp, I believe. Let's go take a quick look here. We are looking at B. So yes, we're pulling in the timestamp, and the reason that's shifted is because we added this first column. Okay, not a big deal. What we actually want to do is pull in that first column, because that number is our unique identifier here. So we really want to change this to A. And you can use capital and keep it consistent here, but just trying to go quickly for you. All right. So now you can see it's pulling in a number, and you might say to yourself, well, what good is that? Because we don't know what number 10 is. Okay, so now we're going to use Vlookup to match on this number from this spreadsheet. Okay, and I do have a couple of tutorials out there on Vlookup if anyone is interested in learning more about Vlookup. I can do more tutorials, but I can also post links to those here. So we can just start typing equals Vlookup. Okay. And you can even click it if you want. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to select the number, or the cell that the number is in, rather, really is what we're looking for. Okay, and then a comma. We're going to take, I'm going to take the whole range here, and I did that by holding the Shift key. I selected the A, continue holding the Shift key, and I selected the F. And then I'm going to do a comma. Okay, at this point, I need to figure out what do I want to pull. So if I want to pull first name, I'm going to pull 1, 2, 3, 4 columns over. I'm going to put a 4. And then I'm going to type false, because I actually want an exact match. Okay, so there's that. Now what we could do is we could say from, whoops, we don't want that to be capitalized, and we can do the same thing here. And you can see every time I'm changing it, it's changing the cell, so it's actually randomizing as we go here. And it'll do the same thing, equals Vlookup. Okay, we're going to select the cell that the number is in, comma, and again, all of this will be in the, and we'll go all the way over. Okay, so this time we're going to need 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 was the first name. 6 is going to be the state. 6, comma, false. So George from Maine. All right, so let's just go back. So if we were if we were selecting a winner sort of on the fly here, we would have it on this random winner selection. Those are NA because there's nothing found there. There's no number. And we would say the winner is Adrian from Colorado. Okay, let's take a quick look. And is Adrian from Colorado? Adrian is from Colorado. Okay. All right, and the other thing that does for you is it does give you a unique identifier that can be used to sort of prove, you know, obviously Adrian from Colorado. You may have more than one Adrian from Colorado, and I'm just using this as an example. You can pull anything you want in that you're actually collecting from the form, right? I was just kind of giving this as an example. The other thing you can do is you can actually, you know, kind of make it look kind of pretty too. You know, you could actually let me get the whole thing here. Then you could use the fill here and kind of fill it in. Okay, you could bold the text here if you wanted to make it sort of stand out and even make it larger. So you could have some fun with it. You could even put your logo in here. Insert image over cells. We'll try it. Well, let me upload an image. I don't have any in there apparently. Well, there you go. Wine or shop elsewhere. That's from my Teespring store that I just opened. I haven't really posted a whole lot down there, but you get the idea here. You can add your logo and make it a little bit different. Okay, so essentially, if you were and I'm going to be recording this so I can post it as YouTube, you would have it sitting on this screen here, random winner selection, and we can make it wider so you can read it. And you can have it say almost anything you want too. It really comes down to this text here. The winner is what's going to create the random selection. But you could have this random winner selection say anything really, because it's not looking for that. It's looking for this. And the winner is Mark from Maine. Look at that. I'm the winner. We're going to leave on that note. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you want to see more of these types of videos, please leave those questions and comments below. I certainly had fun doing this. I do a lot of DIY sort of repair videos, but I also enjoy doing the tech help videos like Google Docs, spreadsheets, and forms, and so forth. So